I'm CraigO, and join me on my adventures with CraigO's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about.
You're watching CraigO's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technology. Great reviews, incredible interviews with some of the leading people in the Web3 space, and the general things of Web3. Now, I would describe today's guest as a super talented rapper whose lyrics point out all the incredible things in the Web3 ecosystem. Cassius is a recording artist from Oakland, California. He is the host of his own show, PoppinCrypto with Cassius Cuvée. He is the first artist to ever make a music video NFT. His vast understanding of Web3 has led him to invest in several projects, as well as write custom-themed songs for them. He is particularly interested in the metaverse, its future applications. It is his mission to educate and bring awareness to Web3 by way of entertainment and community building. I am looking forward to discussing the following with Cassius Cuvée and much more: SPAC Dream, and his feature on CNBC with Jim Cramer, updates and news from his podcast, and details on some of his guests and alpha insights from his travels. Welcome, Cassius. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's poppin', Craig? Great to be here.
It's great to have you here, my friend. And, you know, I've been watching your podcast for a while, and I thought it was really cool how we interview a lot of people in the space and how podcasters might not have other podcasters on. But I think it's really important because there's a lot of learning to be done. So, you know, as your podcast continues to develop, what are the most pivotal things that right now you've discovered in the way of cryptos and NFTs?
Well, right now, as we stand right now, of course, everybody knows the markets are down right now. And it's interesting to see going to consensus, especially, talking to different projects and stuff. Everyone kind of realizes that, the squeeze is on in a lot of places. And we're in an interesting time period right now where, the strong will survive. And whoever makes it out the other side of this is going to come out a lot stronger. I won't say winner take all, but a lot of the basically crappier projects are getting fleshed out. So, that's kind of where we stand right now. I'm same business as you as far as the journalism side of it. I'm also a recording artist, and I, create NFTs. And on my show, I spit a custom rap song about the company that or project that I'm interviewing. So in order to do that, I always have to kind of study and do a deep dive of them before I even have the interview, so I can write the rap. And then we go into the interview, and then the founder, CEOs, whoever I'm interviewing, goes into like a deeper meanings behind what I was saying in the song. And, as we stand here right now, the last one I did, like a full show, was called Realm Metaverse. They debuted at NFT NYC, their beta version. They're going to have a mobile game. It's a play to earn metaverse, but it's on your phone. So I think that some of the more innovative ideas are the ones that will last, 5 years from now or whatever, make it to the other side of this crypto winter.
Yeah. And, I think it's a time where we get our chance to double down. We were just interviewing Drew Austin from Knights of Degen, and he was talking about how, he started in crypto journey, in 2013. And he literally said, I've lost 4 times my 90% of my wealth. And he goes, each time it came back, greater. So there was more risk that I was able or wanting to take in order to grow in the space. As maybe you're licking some of your crypto and NFT wounds, are there some projects that you're incredibly bullish on right now that you're now starting to double down? And again, this is not financial advice for anybody who's tuning in, but what is Cassius Cuvée right now? What is he doubling down in right now in this bear market?
Okay, well, you make a great point, right? First, I just want to say, for all the people out there in panic mode and stuff, take a deep breath. There's nothing to panic about. Blockchain technology is not going away. All right. Every day I watch CNBC and the macro environments and everything that's going on. Tech stocks are down too. Everything's down. Just, for the record, the S&P 500 had the worst half of the start of a year in 50 years. So everything's down, not just crypto. Obviously, crypto is more volatile asset, smaller market caps. Of course, it's going to go up and down at a higher rate. Right. So take a breath. Nothing's broken about blockchain. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I want to say is that this is what we're all been waiting for, right? All the people who were late to this, even myself, didn't get in way back years ago. If you missed those initial run-ups in 2021 on January 1st and all the altcoins went crazy, this is your chance to get back in. So I like what you're talking about, either double down, or maybe some people are going to start a new position. I like to reach out to people who are new to the space, who maybe haven't started a position yet. It's like, maybe now's a good time to start the DCA in. Again, not financial advice. There's lots of projects out there. But now, to answer your question number 3, I got to tell you, the project that I'm the single most bullish on is Algorand. For those who don't know, Algorand was created by Silvio McCallie. He was the head of cryptography at MIT. So he knows a little something about blockchain technology, okay? Started in 2019. The prices are so low right now. I'm just like, every day I'm looking at like when to buy more, when to buy more. I will tell you again, I'm looking at the macro environment. I know that the Fed is going to be raising interest rates all through the summer, probably again in September.
Yeah.
I don't have any FOMO for anything right now, even the projects I love the most. I'm probably invested about 80 projects. But if I have my shopping list, and Algorand is probably already my biggest position, so I may not be doubling down too much more, but it's definitely one that I think will survive the long term, and that's what we're looking for right now.
Yeah, something that has functionality. I'm always talking about right now in this bear market. I'm looking at, where am I seeing projects that are treating their community as it's a business? They're responsible to their holders. There's full on transparency. I've heard of Algorand. I'll actually double check back into this. And so, when we're talking on our podcast, we're thinking about who's tuning in, right? We've got our newbies who are right now, they don't really know how to, and you said something really important I want to point back out, is the newbies don't know how to value something. So for instance, if I bought an NFT, and we'll just use fiat, for $1,200, and right now that same collection that I believe in is now $300 floor. My gosh, I mean, I don't know about you, but that seems like a discount to me if I've done my due diligence, if I believe in the project, I believe in the founders, I believe in the community. So you make a really good point. How do you do your learning? How do you suggest to people, especially the newbies, where do you tell them to go?
Okay, well, we got what me and my boy Crypto XNL, I got to give him credit for this. What we call is the 5 factors to evaluate any crypto project. Pretty much any crypto project. NFTs, I'm going to say a little bit different. Algorand's a layer 1 blockchain, just so for people who don't know. Maybe we'll get into it, maybe we won't, but a layer 1 blockchain is like basically its own blockchain as opposed to a token riding on someone else's blockchain. And just in general, we're kind of looking at good quality layer 1s to make it through the crypto winter. But NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So that's not a layer 1 blockchain, right? It's something that sits on a blockchain. So kind of 2 different investment theses if you're thinking about an investment, okay? So that's just, I want to specify there's a big difference between an NFT and a layer 1 blockchain. But so, for example, the 5 factors that we go over first is the team, which is why I mentioned Silvio McCallie at the top of Algorand.
Doxed.
Docs, yeah. The team, the tokenomics. We want to look at the utility, which is arguably the most important thing. What's its use case? We want to look at their community, and we want to look at their competition. So check out those 5 things. My thing I like to add, my 6th thing, because XNL came up with that. My 6th one I want to say is just overall sentiment for the project. As far as this is for investment, right? Obviously, sentiment's down on a whole lot of things. However, though, because the market has got everything down, there's still some positive sentiment on certain projects, right? And developments and things are still not stopping for a lot of projects. So you want to look for those. Now, specifically, you brought up NFTs. NFTs, I say this in one of my interviews when I did Chibi, a very successful NFT project. I interviewed Matt, the CEO and founder of that. It goes, some PFPs be killing me. Stop shilling me. You want to have longevity, then you got to have utility. So for an NFT, you want to have some genuine utility attached to it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, no offense to any of the NFT projects out there, because I talked to 1,000 of them. A lot of them don't have genuine utility.
Yeah.
A lot of them have what I call I'm about to's. They say they're going to raise all this money from the NFT drop, and then I'm about to build a metaverse, and then I'm about to do this, and I'm about to do that. Yeah. And this is one of the things I do consulting as well. I advise a lot of companies and people who are on crypto, like they have regular businesses and want to learn about blockchain.
Yep.
What is your business? And then let me show you how to, tokenize it, make an NFT out of it, whatever it is that's applicable, as opposed to, hey, let's do an NFT drop, and now I got to figure out how to develop a business behind it. Right? It's two different.
And you brought up a really great point. Cantino.eth. Check him out. He's on Twitter, but he said something. NFTs aren't stuck. And you just brought up what's stuck. It's the utility that's stuck. And if you can't offer supreme value to your holders and a roadmap with check marks already on it, some type of success in the bull, right, moving into this bear, then you might be at a loss. right?
So, because utility is gonna keep you like if somebody's using it, right? Like, obviously, a dollar has utility, right? We're not gonna doesn't matter what the recession is, you're gonna have be using our dollars, right? So we wanna know what is the utility of pretty much any crypto project, but the reason I say NFTs because a lot of NFTs are for art, right? And that's okay. I'm an artist. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Why is the Mona Lisa worth so much? I don't actually know, right? But that's what because it has value and there's people who attribute value to it. I don't know what its utility is other than like to draw attraction to museums and stuff, which that is in fact a genuine utility for something like the Mona Lisa, right? People want to come see it. But a lot of NFT projects, if you're not like famous or something, you got to have a utility that's more like practical in the sense that holding this NFT, either gets you into something, gets you a discount on something,
Right.
gives you something that is a reason somebody wants to hold it, and hopefully a level of scarcity that has a market for it to create value for it so that if somebody puts it for sale, someone wants to buy it because, you know,
Yeah.
NFTs are illiquid assets, right? So
Right.
unless you have a market around your own NFT, that price value, like you said, something went from 1,200 to 300. How do you even know it's worth 300? Somebody had to buy it to tell you it's worth
Correct.
300, which means
That's
hopefully
it.
there's a market, right? Or else it's not
Yeah.
worth jack. So
Right.
you want to have something that has enough utility and then scarcity to have a market for it as well. So we actually have a price point. So it's kind of a tricky thing if you want to invest in NFTs in a crypto winter, but utility is the way to go.
I agree with you. And, I'd also put that right now in this bear market, a lot of NFT communities, the digital assets, they're able to right now, if they can gain the traction and momentum, there are companies out there, actual products and actual service providers who are like, hey, we want to offer a discount or we want to give something free to your community. That is the utility. And then from there, how is that utility not getting stuck and that message getting out and exciting the community of holders or investors? Are there any blue chips right now? So obviously, Algorand Layer 1, everyone, please check that out. Cassius Cuvée said, look at it. Don't just
Silvio
jump into it.
McCallie, if you don't got to trust me, just take a look at some of his interviews and who he is. A lot of people call him the godfather of cryptography. But
All
sorry,
right.
go ahead.
Silvio McCallie.
Yeah.
Perfect. So they're going to look that up because I want them to know that you're someone that does their due diligence day and night. And obviously, we'll talk about how they can connect with you after the
And
podcast.
their governance is open right now, by the way. You got 2.5 more days or so to the way you basically commit your algos and then they airdrop you once a quarter for voting. So if you want to look into the next couple of days, you
Yeah.
got to commit them before that cutoff. It's once a quarter. Anyways, so
Nice. And
yeah,
it's been a
that's a little
beautiful
alpha
drop,
for you. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
85, 90%.
No,
Are there
no,
any
the airdrop. I'm sorry, the airdrop, meaning you get free algos for participating in the network, for
Yep,
supporting the
but
network.
but I'm but I meant in the bull market when, obviously we've had what, an 80-90% drop all the way around. So this is a really good time that if you valued this, you're just know that someone else months ago paid, a lot more money than
Yeah.
you would be paying if this is something that made of interest. So are there any NFTs that excite you? And when I say that, not about somebody getting into a project, but one that you think is
Okay.
executing at every level?
Well, to answer that question, that's a hard answer, like to say this one is doing everything. But for example, right, you see behind me, this is actually a screenshot of my property in Decentraland. So a different type of NFT that folks may or may not realize is a digital real estate, digital land, right?
Yep.
This is different than like a PFP art project, right? So I own this plot of land, actually own a few of them strung together in Decentraland. So digital real estate is something that has value. It's an NFT. It can generate income in a way that its utility can generate income in a way just like in real estate in real life. You can advertise on it. You can host events on it. You can sell NFTs on it. So, in this case, you can sell products there basically. And I think that it kind of gets overlooked. Now, the question, of course, is, what metaverse, right? Like we don't know in 10 years, this will be the metaverse that this is going to be the Facebook of the metaverses, right? Because I kind of think of the metaverse as 3D social media. I have
Correct.
no doubt in my mind the metaverse is going to be huge, but there are, in fact, multiple metaverses. So you want ones that are developing and doing things like that. Now, Decentraland, I got in, I won't say it was early, but it was before a lot of other metaverse projects. It's the OG metaverse.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you that this would be the top metaverse in the world 3 years from now, 5 years from now, but I do know a lot of major brands have already bought digital real estate in the space. They've already done commerce in the
Absolutely.
space.
Yeah.
So as an investor, I like to kind of follow the money, if you will.
Yep.
But I'll admit its graphics are not the best of any metaverse I've seen. There's, just the interface is not necessarily the best, but you can go in there and pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Realm is one that I like that they just dropped because it's mobile.
Yep.
There's over 2 billion people who play mobile games every day around the world.
Yeah.
If you could get a play to earn game to catch on to some of those folks, you can see
Right.
why that would have legs.
Yeah.
Um, let's
I
see.
which is really cool because you and I, first off, I'm a realtor in Connecticut,
Mhm.
but second, you and I were connected by Superworld. Devin
Oh,
Vert,
mhm.
shout out to him, and Rish Latkar, the CEO. He was actually the first podcast episode that I did, number one.
Nice.
So that's how Devin actually introduced us. And my journey into the digital space was getting digital land. So it was Metaverse, which that project is, I don't know, right? I look at it, I like it, and something what you talked about, they had staking, earn the Met token, but a liquidity pool. I would like to see that project continue to mature. I don't believe that it's fully doxed. And again, one of those 5 things that when people go back in those video clips, because we create these short video clips, they're going to go back and they're going to be like, this makes sense. This is how I value it, my project. And all 5 of those plus that bonus 6, that's absolutely amazing. And I think people need to really think about that. But I love that you've got Decentraland, you've got Sandbox. All these are great. I actually hopped on, and I'm not sure if you know, onto the Elrond blockchain.
Mhm.
I'm actually I'm in working a little bit with High Res the Rapper. Love you guys to connect at some point, but they've got Realm of Caritha. It's a really good land project. So that's on the Elrond blockchain with their Meyer app. So it's really cool to see what that property means to you. And when you just said something really cool, that's a screenshot. But at some point, you're going to be able to put on your VR goggles and you're going to go into augmented reality. And then you might have behind you a CryptoPunk hanging on the wall, or maybe an on-chain monkey hanging on the wall. How
If you
cool
go to this property, so it's a screenshot, but those are my NFTs in the windows there. Those are my NFT, some of my NFT music videos. I made an NFT, but when I was on CNBC, the first time I was on CNBC with Melissa Lee, and I actually have a Bored Ape, and if you go around the corner, hanging on the window there, so you could go there right now. I got to
That's so
look up the
cool.
coordinates, and then you'll see the one, some of my art as an NFT on the wall in the metaverse right now. You don't need the VR goggles, just so for folks who don't know, you can just go right in the web browser.
Do you delineate, right? So there are a lot of projects out there right now, that launched, and, founders, all project founders want to make money, right? And so whatever intention is, and then you have holders that go into a project, whether they're just like, I'm going to get into this project and I'm going to, cash out and, paper hands approach. When you look right now, especially as we're kind of licking our bear market wounds, and you look at some of the projects that you're like, man, I should have sold that one. Instead of doing that, you're going towards more of maybe getting more Decentraland. Is that sort of maybe your part of your play with real estate in the metaverse?
I'm very diversified. I'm fully aware that we're in this speculative space. Like I say, even though I'm bullish on Algorand, it's not my only position. I've been like 80 cryptos, so we're early. There's just no doubt about it. We're early. We haven't even talked about crypto domain names. I'm in that space as well.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities. We're in an emerging tech marketplace. It's not a marketplace. It's just, I call it a renaissance movement. Really, we're in a renaissance movement between tech, art, and finance that's never really been seen before quite like this, because of Web3. For folks who don't know, there's Web 1, 2, and 3. This is Web3, which is read, write, and own. You actually get to own it, a piece of it.
Yep.
What you put into it, you get to have something back out of it. So it's hard to say that who will be, quote, the winner. I think it will be more diversified, and there won't be the 5 big tech companies like there have been in the Web 2 world. So I think that there will be a lot of winners. The difference is you kind of get to benefit from some of that. Like Instagram is huge, right? But you upload your pictures, you don't own that. Mark Zuckerberg owns that. Whereas now in Web3, you get to participate, you get to get some value back, I should say, with what you put into it. And as an individual person, I don't need to make $1 billion. You know what I mean? To have a little something, so it's worth it for me.
So you can travel and enjoy. And me, if I lived that status, I think I would just be traveling the world to try the best coffees and meditate somewhere on a mountain. I don't know. I feel like, really, would you, Craig? You wouldn't want the Ferrari and the nice dinners? I don't know. But I think you bring up a lot of really good points. And so, with ENS, so I have 2 ENS domains names. For those that don't know, that's on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can actually go into ENS domain names, and you can actually mint your own domain. So I have 2 of them. One is POOM.eth. So I was trying to go with the 4-letter or 4 numbers ENSs, because those were selling at some point. So again, mine was more on excitement and trying to sell it. Never sold it. It's fine. It's there. It's a technical
We're early.
thing.
We're early.
We are. But the cool thing was I actually minted Metastate Realtor.eth. So
Nice.
maybe a real estate firm might take that on, right? Meta State Realtor. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
What domains did you get on what blockchains?
I own about 1,000 of them. But so we're going to specify for the audience. There's more than one type of crypto domain name. So you're talking about ENS, which is on the Ethereum's. So it says like .eth at the end, and you actually pay for it a little bit differently too. I don't know if you bought 10 years in advance or 20 years or something like that. It's more of a yearly thing. On Unstoppable Domains is where you get like .crypto, .nft. There's a few different ones. .x was one of the more popular ones. Those ones are you buy them one time and then you hold them forever because they're going to come to you as an NFT. So like basically, I went a little overboard. I'm not going to lie, but when I had a good idea, I wanted to buy the .crypto, the .nft, the .x, and all the ones that like want to corner the market on that one. So then if anybody ever wants to buy it, I'm going to sell it as a package. That's kind of my strategy. I had a woman who flipped domain name for a living on my show named Donna. One of my early shows before it was like a full show, one of my first ones, where she made like $35,000 flipping. It was metaverse something, metaverse NFT .crypto or something, and she bought it for whatever, $40 or something, sold it for like 35,000 after. This was before when she bought it. When we and her first talked, it was before Mark Zuckerberg made the announcement that he was changing Facebook to Meta. So then after that, a lot of stuff that anything had to do with metaverse or Meta started selling, and she does it professionally. So she's in the clubhouses and that type of stuff. So I bought a lot, again, no doubt about it, speculative as hell. I got a bunch of, either be commerce names, food delivery names, porn names, all kinds of shit, NFT names. I bought everything.
Did you sell any of them? Did you sell
No,
any of them yet?
I haven't even sold them. I'm sitting on them for now. I'm waiting for Web3 to be a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Right now, Web3 is fragmented, right? Where we don't have a lot of interoperability. I can't stress enough how early we are. And it's interesting because we get to talk about it. Whereas if this was the internet in the 90s, there was no internet to even have the general public participate or even know that it's coming, right? So we really are in a unique time in history where it's like we can see the future, we can dibble and dabble in it, but like Web3 is going to be huge. Right now, we can talk about NFTs, we can talk about digital real estate if we want, we can talk about Bored Ape Yacht Club if you want to. However, NFTs are much broader than that, much bigger.
Absolutely. Well, it's an identity tied to a product or service. Eventually, that's what it should and will become. And
I digital data, though. So that, all your court documents, your medical records, everything's going to be an NFT one day. That's not a matter of if, that's just a matter of when. And it's going to be a matter of what blockchain does it run on.
Yeah.
So which kind of brings you back to Algorand.
No, I love it. And I want people to check out Algorand because coming from you, you've done your due diligence for them to at least go and do their own. But I break it down into the store of value and the house of information. So the house of information is exactly what you said, your insurance information, your house deed, all of that will be
real estate. Absolutely is going to be NFT. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, for the real estate, for the attorneys, their paperwork might get a lot smaller or be by digital signature, and then you get an NFT into your wallet. What are your thoughts or feelings on crypto wallets? And when I ask that, I break it down because I have 3 of them. I want to hear what your opinion is. I have Phantom for Solana Network. I have MetaMask for the Ethereum blockchain, along with my Ledger Nano X, which connects to all 3 of my blockchains. And then I have the Meyer app, which is for the Elrond blockchain, which I find to be the easiest, most friendly to use. What are your thoughts?
I've not used the Meyer one, so that'd be interesting to give it a try. Elrond happens to be one of the ones I'm not really invested in yet. I like Exodus a lot. I'm not gonna lie, Exodus is really user friendly, both on the computer or mobile. It's you can do staking from within it. You can earn rewards while your crypto stays in Exodus. Really cool user interface, UI. It's like basically very well organized and like pretty, if you will, right? It doesn't look like the way MetaMask looks. And it's also, again, the main thing is the staking is like clearly laid out, like the percentage you're earning and all that kind of stuff. It's organized quite well. Phantom Wallet, because that's the one, that holds Solana, right? So we have that. And, there's MetaMask, also is Binance, which is on there as well, which is big, right? Which is Binance. And then you've got the ones, there's, what do I have? I think it's called Firefly for my IOTA, which is interesting crypto. We've got for the ones for XRP and stuff that that are on there. Algorand's the Para wallet, which is native for Algorand, so you can participate in the governance. We've got Cardano's wallet is the Daedalus wallet, so that's you participate in their staking. Okay, so let me. These are my thoughts on wallets. Some are wallets just like wallets you're gonna hold, right? And then there's cold storage wallets as well, like you've got the Nano, the hardware wallets and stuff. But if you want to participate in a proof of stake protocol, in my humble viewpoint, not financial advice, but I'm going to get to why I'm saying this is very important. It's nice to stake it for the purposes that it was intended to be made. So like I want to stake my Algorand and my Cardano on their native wallet because it supports the network. That's its purpose, right? That is the purpose of proof of stake. This is the reason why I can tell you that some cryptos are like a growth stock and a dividend stock at the same time. It's because I can earn a dividend from it, right? So now there is a value, an intrinsic value. It's not just a greater fool theory, right? You're actually getting a reward for helping support the network, right? That's kind of the deal, right? And if you do it from their native wallet or their native way, you're only, your coins are safe in your wallet while you get to participate. As opposed to something like Celsius or Voyager, where, yeah, it was great to try to earn a yield because I got burned on Celsius. That was the only one I got burned on. But because, you're trying to earn a yield on something that I may or may not have been able to participate in its staking, or, I had my Decentraland mana in there. There's a staking pool for it. It's not a proof of stake protocol. So there's a way to participate and support the network and earn, fair and legitimate dividend, basically, but still keep your coins safe because you're using their native wallet, as opposed to not your keys, not your crypto. For anybody who hasn't heard that before, they say it over and over again, not your keys, not your crypto. And a lot of people learned the hard way in the past month or so that if you give up your crypto to someone else, like out of your wallet, then they can freeze your assets and you get fucked. And that's what happened to me. So, and a lot of other people, millions of people.
Governance, and I think what was interesting, and let's dive into this centralized thing, because we did talk to Drew about this, and I want to get your opinion on it, right? So I look at Celsius and Voyager a little bit differently than I do Coinbase and Binance.us. Now, I'm not saying that the crazy things can't happen over there, but I think, the higher fees when you're buying in Coinbase, and by the way, I think that's to our audience, I think for the newbies especially, is go set up an account on Coinbase. Don't even put money on there. Just they've got to learn and earn. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can start to feel, because that's the kiddie pool of Web3, right? Is that centralized. And then when you start to feel your way, you get your MetaMask or you get your other wallet, and you start to figure out what coins are, friendly with which wallets. Because if you send crypto to the wrong address, we know gone. But when we talk about Celsius and Voyager, and I was honest on my show about it, I always will be, I had the VGX token on there, and I saw that stuff was going to crap out. The reason I did not pull off of Voyager is because I have their native token, right? So if their platform will forever cease to exist, well, then I had some other coins on there that I moved to my Ledger Nano X, because once Celsius stopped withdrawals, I was like, it's only a matter of time, because you got these great yields, which is it's a farming to earn crypto, right? And then from there, you're like, wait a minute. All right. So if they're shutting off withdrawals, right? So that's the honey to get you into the pot. And Voyager, I want to say I want to believe in Steve Ehrlich, their founder, that he's going to come out and present. Right now, he's probably lawyered up, so he can't.
Well, they're filing for bankruptcy, but they're saying they're doing it in a way that they're going to not take your assets. Is what they're saying. We'll see.
I know. I'm trying not to I'm trying not to give you the visual FUD. I'm like, And so when Celsius stopped their withdrawals, then I saw 2 weeks later, Voyager then said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take you from where you could do $25,000 withdrawal to 15. And I was like, I see. We see what's happening.
Oh, I took everything off of everything else. Like I said, I'm very diversified. So yeah, and of course it sucks when something gets frozen. It's not technically dead yet. I attribute it to like a family member lost at sea. Just tell me I'm dead, bro. Like, what I'm saying? I don't want to live with that, wondering what if this and that, But I will say that you were a smart man, because I told everybody at that time. I said, look, if Celsius is the first big one, because that Celsius is not the same as what happened with Terra Luna. It's two different things. That's not the same thing.
That's a rug, by the way.
Yeah, this is a lending protocol that basically sold themselves as like safe passive income, and then in the background they're doing trading or lending it to people who are doing trading. And I'm like, hell, I could have traded better than that. Give me the $10 billion. You know what I'm saying? Right. What the hell are y'all doing? Just because the market goes down, if you're a hedge fund, you could also hedge. But anyways, like they took some risks that they shouldn't have been taking with people's money, and we honestly didn't know they were taking those risks. And so we could have said, oh, well, you signed a thing that says they're allowed to do whatever they want. Sure, but they did not sell it to you like that. It'd be different if they told you they were going to be taking risks with your money, and that's why you got the reward. They didn't package it like that at all.
Yeah.
But you were smart, because I told everybody that day. It was the day I got back from Consensus. And I said, I'm on Coin Loan, get it off. I got off Coinbase. Every single thing that was anything centralized.
How much money did you save from being locked up?
What was that?
How much money did you save from being locked up if you didn't do that? I mean,
Well, the only other ones that really I was not on Voyager, so my other ones haven't gone belly up, thank God. But I had some on Coin Loan, and I don't know. None is the answer to your question, because the only one I had anything in was most of my stuff I'm staking on like the native token, like the protocol, their wallet, right? So
yeah.
thankfully should be
And you
safe.
bring up a really good point. If there's a protocol, it's like you wouldn't get a cell phone from a different carrier and then go on that cell phone network. It's the same way that people should be thinking as they step into the space is what is the compatibility with that digital asset with their software, right? And that's something that people really need to take note of. And I think it was really smart on your play to kind of ring the alarm bells. I think I'm a little bit newer in the space than to give advice to some of the people who have a lot more vested. And some of the stories that I heard were complete nightmares. People are now having to orchestrate all their finances right now because of the Voyager lockup and figure out what their next moves are. And that's between, house and home and, food on the table and vehicles to drive. I mean, when you have individuals that never thought about, oh, it's $50 or $80 to fill a gas tank because they never had to worry about it. Now these concerns, whether they go to the pump or they, go out shopping, or that trip up for the weekend it's done. It's decimated for now. And that's sobering reality, right?
Right. Now, this is an age-old rule of investing. Don't put anything in that you're not willing to lose, right? Like,
Right.
in reality, the stuff I had locked up in Celsius, I didn't have any plans of removing it anytime soon. So, in some aspects, psychologically, obviously it sucks, but I probably wasn't going to touch it anyways. You know what I mean? Because I was holding it long term. So that's where it comes into bankroll management, and just this is like just in general investing and portfolio management thesis. And again, why I'm diversified, because if you were counting on your Celsius income to fill your gas tank, as you mentioned, you probably you had probably too much risk involved. You know what I'm saying though? Like
Right.
you gotta manage how much cash you've got, where your funds are at. I mean,
Right.
this is just like a general
Right.
portfolio thing.
Well, it
So
was funny because I had the debit card from Voyager, right? Or I was supposed to
mm,
get it. I
mm,
signed up for
mhm,
it and never got it. And then the
mm,
people who got it were using it, and
mhm,
now dinner got rejected or
mm,
the gas
mm.
station, all these problems that were created from a platform that people invested in. And, Mark Cuban and his Dallas Mavericks were definitely a part of that. And, so when you look at, the people in a space that you believe have some level of credibility, and not that I'm not taking any credibility away from Mark at all, he might have a level of shock, but nobody was expecting, I think, the downturn of the market to be this quick. And you also said that, look at Celsius. I mean, they should have given us their money. You and I would have had much better,
Yeah,
even degen plays, maybe,
yeah. Just regular trading, I wouldn't have lost it all like that. I do
Um,
want to say one thing though. Um, I won't say nobody said that the market could have this big of a downturn. Crypto has had a history of massive drops. If these guys are professionals, you can hedge against that. That's what I was kind of getting at, right? They're not just some layman to like work a regular job and he doesn't have time to follow the market all day. Like this is their job, and I watch markets all day and I could have seen that, I could have at least known that after several elevators down to, mitigate risk, if you will, take
yeah,
something off the table if you had all of everything in one place. So
right.
again, if these guys are professionals managing billions of dollars, I would hope they would have been a little bit, I don't know. They must problem is leverage, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
guess it's greed. They just get over leveraged like
Mm.
crazy. I tell everyone, don't do leverage trading
Well,
unless
that's
you
the
are
problem is
professional.
people want to change, and I understand people want to change their lives, and we all want to live a good life and with good intention. There's a lot of people out there, such that in that manner, they want to find that next big thing, and they want to, flex at the family Thanksgiving or picnic and be like, yeah,
But if
I'm
you
the guy.
invested in Voyager, you weren't one of those people. If you invested in Celsius, you weren't one of those people. It was supposed
Correct.
to be safe passive income. I'm talking about the people who took everyone's money and
Yeah,
gambled with it, right? Like they're supposed to be
yeah,
professionals. So that's a little bit different than just a regular person who wants to take out a 10x leverage, play. Because
right.
that's like we were supposed to be going to something like safe and conservative by parking our money in those places. And
So
that's where it
say.
was a little bit of you were bait and switch, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, and it is the bait and switch, and that's so sad. I mean, the the USDC coin, the Tether coin, those stable coins, right? I think that was a lot. That was a big challenge because anybody who had USD in the Voyager account is now going to get that back. But if you had USDC or USDT, not a chance. And you would think, well, that's pegged to the, to the dollar in some form or fashion. I don't see the gold sitting in a vault saying, oh yeah, there's where it's pegged to.
Right.
But you look at the crash of Terra Luna. Let's talk about that. Do Kwon. That to me is a tremendous. I don't want to say it's a rug, right? Or that he had any involvement, however that works, but just how they drained that algorithmic liquidity pool from one to the other. What are your thoughts on Terra Luna?
Well, I never invested in it because I honestly didn't believe in algorithmic stablecoin, and especially tied again to Bitcoin, especially backed by Bitcoin, which is an extraordinarily volatile asset. To me, that just didn't make sense. And then, I won't get into all the technicals that I looked at. So I just stayed away from it. I'm not shocked that this happened. I subsequently found out about Do Kwon. Just goes into the studying your top 5 factors. He had a failed algorithmic stablecoin in the past. Whereas if I was someone who's really going to do deep dive invest in that, I would have liked to know that information before I invested in Terra Luna and UST.
Right.
So that is something that I don't know how I got overlooked. Again, I didn't do too much deep dive because when I started seeing some things I didn't like, I just pulled back because I got like 100 other, projects I could invest in.
Right.
But I do think that the way it cascaded down so badly and so fast, it actually made sense that were to happen. Like if it was going to collapse, it was going to collapse like super hardcore.
Right.
There's questions to me about some of the, again, I've read the post-mortem actions. Did he take money off and stuff about him personally and his intentions? But
Right.
even so, like even Celsius, when Bitcoin dropped to like 30K is when they froze everything. I was like, we knew that Bitcoin be volatile, but 30K is not that like, you know what I mean? Like, it dropped to 10K. So I
Right.
kind of wonder why some of these things, assets froze up that fast when the volatility wasn't that quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like we had seen a downtrend coming, and it wasn't like that was the big dip. Like it wasn't went from 60 to 30 in a week.
I think in the centralized world, it allows Coinbase and Binance.us to really make a run for it. For instance, Coinbase, we talked about this on one of my episodes. They have the beta 1, and there's so many value propositions for a consumer. So it's something that people should check out. But again, I think this is at the time where they can make in the crypto world, people feel like this is the safe place. Let's talk about Roam, an aggregated trading service and all-in-one platform, crypto platform research, because you did an interview and you asked some really hard-hitting questions for both user interface and also the third-party service providers that pay for it, and the users are free. Talk to us a little bit about Roam and what excited you about that project and interviewing, I believe, the owner. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, the founder of Roam. Yep, I interviewed the founder of Roam. So if you go on my YouTube channel, which is where my show PoppinCrypto is, that one wasn't like a full show with a wrap and everything, but it was just a quick deep dive into a Web3 innovations where he did a screen share of Roam, so you can go on there and actually see what it looks like and how it operates. It's basically an interface for a user, like it's free for a user. Where you get a lot of data, but you can also do swaps and transactions on there as well. It's attached to it's like tied partnered, basically. They partner with multiple dexes. And you can do some cool stuff like swap multiple coins for one at a time, right? As opposed to doing multiple swaps. If you want to say you got, I don't know, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and whatever, Tron, and you want to turn them into Algorand, you can do all three at once, I think, if my understanding was correct, right? Like depending on what dexes are on, I guess. And so they have a lot of data, also information and charting and stuff, which you don't get to see on a dex usually, right? If you go to PancakeSwap, right, you can't see all the information that's on there. So they make it look like a Coinbase or something where there's like lots of data and charts and things like that. But if you go on and watch that interview, we do a screen share, so he's explaining how to use it basically right on there.
I liked how he conducted himself in the interview, and I felt an extreme amount of credibility. And I don't say that easily. Again, I don't know him through a hole in the wall, but when I watched your interviewing and his ability to maintain a level under pressure, because I'm assuming he's a very tech guy. So
I pressured him a little bit because we're in a tough time period. Everyone got to ask the hard questions, right?
That's what we have to do. We've got to be able to challenge our guests. I also love the interview you did with Macy Gray, and what was the one most important thing that you learned from your conversation with her?
Well, I love the idea just in general, and I'm blessed to even have her on my show of, celebrities, pop culture icons who are utilizing NFTs for charitable actions, right? And because of this direct-to-consumer sale of your NFT, where you can kind of basically cut out most of the middleman with the record label and all that kind of stuff, you have more power over your art. One thing, in particularly to music, for anybody who's into music out there, she talks about how when you sell your music NFTs, you're getting the actual sound of the music the way the artist intended it to be. Whereas when you listen to it on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, they have a layer of, they basically kind of compress everything. So everything's kind of the same, one song similar to the next song. Whereas when you get the NFT version of it, the actual quality of the music is better because you're hearing it how the artist had it mixed and mastered, where they kind of level everything out. But then leveraging that to be able to donate to charity and act, create charitable acts and stuff. That was one thing I really liked about it. And that's kind of what inspired the rap I wrote, was about that, about teaching people about decentralized finance and how you can leverage it to help out charity. And that's what I really liked about her interview.
I loved it. I love it. Music, photography, sports, trading cards, domain names, virtual real estate, collectibles, utility. My add-on currently is established is those products and services have to follow behind these digital assets. What categories of NFTs excite you the most? And I'm going to throw it out right back at you, and I'm going to probably say it's probably music and metaverse land. Would I be correct on that?
Yes, I wish. I'm actually doing an interview with someone later on today who's building a music platform on Cardano. He's funded and everything, and so they're getting started. But I mean, music is not solved yet, if you will, right? It's not perfectly. There is no one place where we all go to listen to music NFTs, right? That's because Web3 is new.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how this works, right? There's direct to consumer. We've dreamed up, me and my analysts, as well as other people I've talked to, have dreamed up multiple ways you can go about bringing the fans on so that they have value, right? Either they own a fractional publishing, they get some sort of a royalty split because they own your token, the token of the platform, the NFT itself. There's multiple ways that they can have ownership. So if you're a fanatic, right? You're a fan, you're a fanatic, you love this artist. I'm going to go out and buy their album every time it drops, first day. You now get something for that, right? You now, because you are in fact paying them, right? So they're providing you with the service entertainment. Everyone values that. But the fact that you're now paying, that you are now have some ownership in their journey, you're like invested with them. You want to tell your friends about it, just as for financial reasons, if nothing else, because it's bringing more value to you, which you would probably say, hey, did you hear this new so-and-so song anyways, right? So I think there's a lot of opportunity for music to have fan involvement in music. Kind of connects with people differently than a lot of other types of entertainment, right? People feel a strong emotional connection to a musician, to an artist. And this is like a way that you can kind of financially participate, as well as just feel like you have skin in the game in their career. You actually can be a part of their journey and benefit some of the rewards by helping them continue to be famous or whatever the case may be. So I think that's really interesting because it's a new level of fan engagement that just really didn't quite exist before.
Yeah, and I think it's the Web3 life from the Web 2, right? So I think there's allowing celebrity or artists to engage with their audience, and I think it has to be a balance. And by that, what I mean is that artist, before they launch out a collection, that they understand about Web3, and they've got an amazing team around them of advisors and people who are digitally smart, programmers. The ifs and ands of contracts, right? If this does this, this happens. If this happens, that happens.
And education is key. I don't know if you guys saw the Chris Brown NFT drop didn't do so well.
I did. I was going to ask you about that, but I decided not to. But since you brought it up, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know every detail of it. I just know the general premise of the fact that, and this is part of the reason why I do my show, why you do your show. We want to bring education and awareness to folks, right?
Right.
Like, the people who made it, quote unquote, the most money off their NFT drops are the people who found a way to tap into a Web3 audience, people who are already NFT native, right? Because they know how to do Web3. Where there's a big hurdle from someone who doesn't know anything about blockchain to have to now get a wallet and what the hell is NFT and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
you definitely want, like you said, you want to have advisors around you and folks who, if I'm an artist, right? Let's say I'm a famous artist. It's kind of two sides to it. I think this is a great opportunity, though, for legacy artists or anybody. You actually have a chance to get a new audience, folks who like NFTs who maybe hadn't discovered your music yet.
Right.
So that's a potential new artist if you're a legacy artist. But then also you want to like educate your current fans. If you're maybe a younger artist or something like that, you want to educate them on the value of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, wallets. So part of your campaign, if you will, your marketing campaign, a big part of it, the beginning part of it should be, hey guys, I got a great new album dropping. Everyone, you guys want to get it right? Yeah. Let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how you buy the NFT. Like, you need
I
to
love it.
invest in that. You need to invest in that education. That will help drive adoption for the, Web3, greater Web3, but also will help you,
Yeah.
sell more NFTs if that's what you're trying to do.
And I mean,
You got
let's
to educate them.
say that Chris Brown has an incredible body of work. And so maybe he's come away from this project. And again, I don't think that the celebrities have a level of involvement, but it's their management team. I was watching, there's a management team, Guy Fair, I don't remember his last name, but he has like all the top artists who got into a very big project this past year. And I'm going to let it, there's enough FUD going around on the project, but a lot of celebrities were like, oh, it just got into this project. And then the project floor went up and the project floor. And you now look at that project and it's 1/3 the value that it was obviously in the bull, now in the bear, like all projects. And you say to yourself, all right, so these celebrities and artists, and that's what I love about Macy is that I could feel that she has involvement. She knows what's going on. But you just said that to those artists that want to get in the space, educate your audience on how to set up that wallet, how to get that piece, engage with them on Discord and Twitter. And when FUD does come about, you face it. And I think that's really hard because there's sort of this glass barrier between someone who's a celebrity and the general public. And yet you only get one good chance, maybe two. I'm hoping in Chris's situation, maybe you'll get a second chance, but you only get really one good chance to have a really successful launch. And if it doesn't go right, you've got to pick up those pieces, reestablish yourself with a new team. And exactly what you just said is teach your audience how and what to do and why they should get involved in that project. And for me, with you, I'm going to set you up with your Meyer wallet, and I'm actually going to give you an NFT. I'm going to gift you one. I want you to get on the Elron blockchain. I'm going to look up, obviously, is Algorand. I'm going to look into that a little bit further. But we have this, the Elron Clubhouse, and I want you to check that out. They're doing a lot of great engagement content on there. And I feel like you're somebody in the space and a podcaster who is very well-rounded, very well-versed with an incredible rap game. You're somebody that I want people in my audience to connect with. Any parting words from you today?
No, I mean, first of all, just thanks for having me on, Craig. I mean, the first time I talked to you on the phone a little while back, I could tell you were very, passionate, individual, spirited. I love your attitude and your mindset. So I appreciate coming on your show, just in general. But also just, I think we just want to keep pushing the line of education. Also with the markets being down, I sleep well at night. I don't know, like I'm down. I don't know what I'm down on money wise. It doesn't really matter to me. I know that this space is going to continue. So for all the folks who are, you're staring at your bottom line every day, you got to make up a decision. You're either going to sell and run, or now we're down so much, is it even worth it to sell? In which case, if it ain't, stop looking at it. Move on to the next thing. Right now, I'm telling everybody you want to stack your cash right now because it may dip more and you want to be ready to buy that dip. I don't think we're in any risk of missing a bull market this summer. You know what I'm saying? So right now, you could start your homework on what projects you want to look at, right? I don't think you even have to have FOMO on Algorand, right? But just look into it, like these type of things. I'm going to look into Elron. There's no rush right now. So this is opportunity, is what I want to say as a parting words. This is an opportunity to educate and build up your bankroll and start thinking about your larger portfolio balance. Exactly. So when it's time to deploy capital, you know that you're not taking a risk you can't afford to take.
With the highest level of confidence, Mr. Cassius Cuvée, I'm honored to have had you on our podcast today. You are a friend of the family, and we will, of course, share any content with one another. And when you have stuff that you want my audience to know, I'll do the same for you in return.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate you, man.